Yo, what's up YouTube? You are tuned into Cody Vondell, and today we're time traveling from Y2K all the way back to the 80s to talk about the brand new Netflix series created by Adi Shankar. It's called Guardians of Justice. So your boy started working on this show all the way back in the spring of 2016. I'm talking 6 years ago. So the show has been in development for a long time, and I've seen so many different versions of the show. I just wanted to break down some of the things that I contributed to this show because I've seen it evolve into something absolutely crazy over these past 6 years. So let's start at the top. This is Adi Shankar's brand new dark humor superhero satire. It's set in the 1980s, post-World War III. All the characters are plays off of DC Comics. So instead of Batman, we have Nighthawk. Instead of Superman, we have Marvelous Man, right? Okay, so essentially, this was a live-action show in the beginning, and it had the Scott Pilgrim-style kind of pop-up things, like, well, a new character shows up on screen, boom, their logo pops up. Somebody gets, something bad happens to somebody, boom, fatality or brutality, you know what I'm saying? So when I got hired, it was creating these big chrome 80s-looking logos that would pop up when those kinds of things happen. Really Scott Pilgrim-style, but also very derivative of that synthwave outrun kind of style. So let's discuss how I got started. I've been working with Mike Diva on all kinds of cool visual effects for the past several years, and Adi Shankar hit up Mike saying that he really wanted Mike's kind of signature style, that kind of vaporwave, synthwave, outrun kind of look. So Mike was like, yo, I'm hella busy, but my boy Cody Vondell, he's got you covered. And so Adi and I got into contact, and we've developed a really good working relationship over these years. I helped him brand the Bootleg universe, as well as a couple of his other companies. And then I got to do a lot of various stuff. So I guess after a few years of working on this show with other shows like The Boys coming out, I think Adi wanted to do something different. So that's when he brought in all types of multimedia. So that's why we have so many different animation styles, so many different computer graphics styles, comic books, claymation. Like literally, if it was a style in the past 30 years, you're gonna see it in this show. So yeah, while I started out working on visuals for Phil Hart, Andy Milonakis' character, I started eventually doing all the chrome letters, and eventually I started doing things like magazine covers, little arcade machines that pop up, the little bullet character that goes across the screen, a lot of random stuff. So yeah, with so many different animators and stuff working on it, it was just like, you know, I figured I'd just kind of throw out the little things that I touched on this show. And you know, it's crazy because the more I watch the show, the more parts that I remember making, like, oh, I think I made that like 5 years ago. And it's been a really fun time watching the show because it's like, if I watch the same episode twice, chances are I'm going to see some little thing that I made pop up and I'm like, wait a second. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun. One thing I want to discuss is maybe how I would have handled some of the chrome graphics, some of the big chrome lettering today as opposed to 5 years ago. I think it's subtle, but I think there's little things that I do now that I wasn't doing back then. Maybe I was doing it on some of it, but I wasn't applying it to everything. And I figured today we could actually just kind of go over one of the repeating pop-ups. So we're going to look at Boss Battle, because when I saw it appear multiple times on screen throughout the show, all I could think was, man, this one does not hold up to some of the other ones that I did. And it also doesn't hold up to something that I've done more recently. So let's just hop on screen and kind of take a look at some of these 80s chrome letters and see some subtle things that we could do slightly differently that would just make it pop a little bit more and have a little bit more of that authentic vintage look. So let's hop on screen and take a look. So here we are, we got boss battle. So this pops up several times throughout gameplay, throughout the show. And as you can see, these are all of our layers, and these are layer style. So I've got the bevel and emboss turned on, but there's so many other things I feel like we could do to make it feel more authentic from the 80s. So that's what we're doing right now. So these little kind of, I always call that like mountains, but right now we're actually going to fill them out and make them look really mountainous. I feel like the ones that we did before weren't quite there yet. It didn't look awful, but I just think that we could improve this in a few subtle ways, and afterwards we'll compare the two, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. So right here, we're drawing the mountains across the letters because we're going to cut these mountains out so that they kind of give that chromatic reflection. So we're going to do that by creating a path, and then we're actually going to select that right out of the text, copy and paste it, and now we have these kind of mountains. They're not the best looking mountains. I could probably do them even better looking, but let's go ahead and apply that layer style. That's actually a preset layer style where it's a gradient from black to clear. So yeah, we're going to just redraw these mountains just a little bit better than the second time we did it. I think these will look slightly more realistic. There we go. So we're gonna do that same thing, go to paths, create a path, and copy and paste that selection from the text layer beneath it. We're going to apply that black to clear gradient, and we'll kind of adjust the gradient just a tiny bit, just to make it a little bit stronger in areas. Yeah, that's looking good. Boom, there we go. Yeah, that's along the lines of what I was kind of hoping to achieve. And it's just a few extra steps that I didn't take the very first time. And we actually took those steps on some of the visuals, just not all of them. So I figured why not go back and just look at some little things that we could change. So here's battle. And pretty much this is a preset style with some slight adjustments made. But that really is just such a cool preset style. Cool neon. They have it in like red, yellow, green, blue, like a bunch of different colors. So adjusting it just a little bit more, kind of making it really feel like just gel, like chrome gel. That's the idea for a battle. And I'd say we're there. That's looking good. And now let's play with these outlines a little bit. So for this outline layer, I think that we could really add more reflections, and that is essentially what we're going to do. We're going to go from shape burst to linear, and we're going to scale it down. You can already see. So we're not going to redo this 3D because the latest version of Photoshop sucks, and I can't do 3D stuff in it anymore. I have to go to the previous version of Photoshop. Photoshop, what are you doing, Adobe? Come on. All right, so here we go. We're just playing around with some ideas, things that we could add in that 3D layer, but ultimately I don't think it's going to work. I think we're just going to keep it how it was, just totally chrome, no reds, no blues, no nothing. Cool. So I think that's looking good, and maybe what we can do now is copy and paste these layers, merge them together, and start playing with the kind of RGB offset a little bit. Add some noise, bring that noise down to like 9%, so it's just barely adds a little bit of a texture to what we're doing. And all right, so it's subtle, but you can already see how clearly better this version is than the last one. And there's one extra little thing I think we're going to do really quick. We have 2 layers of mountains there. I thought it might be cool, but actually I think it's going to look better if we just have 1 layer, a little less busy. We'll get that chromatic aberration back on, and boom, that's looking good. Here's a comparison. So we started with that one and we wound up with that one. So there we are. I'm feeling really good about that. Overall, it was an absolute honor to work with Adi Shankar and so many other talented creators on this Netflix show. I mean, it's just cool that I've worked on a show for Netflix. That's awesome. I'm super stoked about it. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out what I've been working on. As always, you can help support the channel by heading over to my Etsy, picking up some stickers. You can also like, subscribe, comment on the video. I'm doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscriptions. We are almost there, giving you a template with tons of icons that you can use in your own graphics. And I'm working on a template to give away at 2K. So stay posted, and I'll be explaining some more about that soon. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Next time I'm on here, we're going to be looking at photogrammetry. I recently got the Polycam app, and I 3D scanned my entire studio bedroom, as well as some boom boxes and my cat and all kinds of other stuff. So I'm gonna do a quick little video just talking about how cool this technology is. So I'll see you there. Thank you guys. Much love. I'll see you next time.